Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another episode of okay. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Shifts to Streamline Live. And as tonight, as promised, we are going to talk about can your business stand the rainfall that comes before success, and discuss the three things that you need to have in place. Um, Last week, we had one of those days where the entire Meta family and some people even rumored that LinkedIn were down. And so many businesses are um, dependent on social media to make sure that they have clients and leads and stuff. And so I've been spending some time I sent out an email last week and I made a post earlier this week talking about it's my platform and I own it. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure that you do take an opportunity to check that out because not this time, but the time before that, six businesses lost $65 million because social media, specifically Facebook et al., was down for a few hours. How often are you going to be able to lose money in your business? So basically, the premise of what I was talking about is that it's better to own than to rent any day of the week. And that is true for your business as well as it is in property and owner and home ownership. And so you want to make sure that you have a strategy in place that is dependent on owned media. Okay. You want to make sure you're using email marketing. You want to make sure that you're using text messaging. You want to make sure that you have your own CRM, your own landing pages, all of those things. And so, for those of you who had a few questions about what that was in reference to, it was in reference to the fact that owning it is better than depending on Facebook, Meta, and the entire bunch. Because at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. Those are free. You need to make sure that you're investing in you and getting what you deserve. So that brought me to this week's message is can you stand the rainfall that comes? Can your business stand the rainfall that comes before success? And I was watching a sermon that Pastor Cheryl Brady did this weekend, and hers was titled Stronger Than the Storm. But there were a lot of references that were really, as I was listening to it, that fell into play with what I was going to talk about today anyway. So y'all know I'm a PK, and sometime I'm going to hit you with some scripture. So tonight we're going to have just a little moment. We're going to go over to Matthew chapter 7, and we're going to look at verses 24 and 25 and 26. It says, therefore, everyone who hears what I say, this was Jesus speaking, and obeys it will be a wise person who built a house on a rock. Rain poured and the floods came. Winds blew and beat against that house, but it did not collapse because its foundation was on a rock. On the other hand, those who did not obey are like the foolish person who built their house on sand. Because when the rain pours and the floods come and the winds blow and the house is struck, it is going to collapse, and what is going to be left is a total disaster. There are certain things that you have to have in place in your business as you grow to ensure that you have continuous growth. Excuse my metaphor, but no, don't excuse my metaphor. It's the truth. When you don't have systems in your business, you're playing fast money. You're playing that good money today could be gone tomorrow. That's that quick, fast money. But when you build your business on a strong foundation, you're going to be able to sustain those revenues, maximize those profits, and begin to generate additional income streams. I would take that any day over maybe it will and maybe it won't. Okay. So I told you that we were going to talk about the three things that you need. But before I jump into that, I just want to make sure that when you're building your business, make sure that you understand that you do need to have a strong foundation. I read an email earlier this week from someone and it was really funny, but it was so honest. It said you can accidentally make $200,000 or $300,000. But being able to sustain that over time, that requires that you have certain strategy, certain processes, and certain systems in place. Okay? You can actually luck into making six figures, but can you sustain that? Okay? And just know that when I say, can your business hold up to the rainfall, remember it's spring. What happens in the spring? It rains. When it rains, what happens? Flowers bloom, trees come back to life. So you have to have rain in order to have growth. But if you're not prepared for that rain, it can beat you down versus building you up. Think about when a heavy rainfall comes and you've just put those cute little geraniums in the ground. Because I don't have a green thumb, my mom does, but I try, and every time it goes to the left. But anyway, you put that down, and then the rain, what happens is that the rain falls so hard that the little plants come up out of the dirt. That's because they didn't have the roots to keep them in the dirt. They didn't have that foundation that was going to anchor them when the storm came. That's exactly what can happen to your business. Okay? When you start off a business as an entrepreneur, you are doing all of the things and it's working and you're getting clients and you're bringing in revenue. But what happens over time is that as you start to have more clients and you start to make more money, it requires more of you. There's only so much of you that you have to give. And so at that point in time, you need to do three things. You need to figure out what it is you're going to do, how you do what you do, and focus on the part that God gave you the gift to do. Then you're going to find a way to do everything else easier and better. You've heard me say it before. This is where my biz besties, delegate and automate, come in place. And third, you're going to stop working for and in your business, and you're going to start running your business. Only at that point in time will you stop being a chief everything officer and become a visionary CEO that stands on the top of mountains and looks down and sees rivers of opportunity and streams of income. You can't get to additional streams of income. You can't get to profits if you're still just making money. And in order to make that move, you have to be able to make some shifts and build that foundation in your business. The best businesses start off with doing that in the first place. But if you don't do it in the first place, your business will tell you when you need to do it. That's the good thing about a business. It will tell you when you need to do it. It's what I call growing pains. When it seems like you're overwhelmed, you're frustrated, it's taking longer and more energy than you have to do the things that you've always done. That means you're just growing. It's just like when you were a teenager, you growing. And it doesn't always feel good. But when it doesn't feel good, that's when you need to stop and you need to look at what's going on, because growth requires new solutions. You can't keep doing the same things and get the same results when you've already grown up. I can't go in there and put on my favorite gray coat from when I was 4 years old. Now, you couldn't tell my 4-year-old self that. I was still wearing that coat with the sleeves up to my forearm. Got the pictures to prove it. But as an adult, I know that I have to buy a bigger coat. So you have to create the room for your business to grow. We've all seen the whole story about the fish tank and the different size fish. If you put a fish in a small tank, it's only going to get so big. But if you put it in a larger tank, then it's going to grow. The same can be said about your business. You have to make sure that you have a foundation that is going to keep it sturdy and give it what it needs so it has room to grow. Okay? And so think about Noah. Noah was building the ark. He didn't know why he was building the ark, but he built the ark. He did what he was told. And what happened? The rain came, and he, his family, and all of the animals that were in the ark were safe. When you build that foundation that will support your business when the rains and the winds come, or it doesn't even necessarily have to be winds. These are rains, the growing rains. When that growth comes about, you have to be able to sustain that. So you have to have the proper foundation in place. And so while I was listening to Pastor Brady, she said, when you disregard instruction, When you don't put that foundation in place, you position yourself for destruction. You've heard me say it so many times. When you get to a certain point in your business, it's like you've come to the end of the road and you got to go left or you got to go right. You're either going to be positioned to scale or you're going to be destined to fail. If you don't have that foundation in place, your business is going to fail or you're going to continue to exist. And what I know about the God that I serve is whatever level that you desire, wherever you settle at, whatever you happy with, that's where He's going to let you be. He has so much more for you, but you have to be willing to do the work to be able to have it. Okay? So having that foundation in place is kind of like insurance. And you say, okay, well, it's a lot of people who don't get it, but it's a lot of people who don't need it. But what if they didn't have it? When you don't have insurance and that storm comes through, those are the people that you see going out and they got to get Billy Bob and them to go up on their roof and fix it. Whereas people like me, business owners like you who've put that insurance in place can call a contractor and get work started the next day. When you have those processes and systems in place in your business, you best believe that they're going to kick in. And when you have those areas where you can't do it or everything is growing too fast, you're going to be able to rely on them. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I've lived in both situations. I've had a business where I didn't have the processes and systems, and I no longer have that today. And I have this business where I have the processes and systems. And I walked away from this business for 6 weeks and came back and everything was running smoothly because I had taken the time to make sure that I had a foundation in place. Okay. So you just want to make sure that you have the proper reinforcements in place. And a lot of times you think, okay, well, and this takes us back to, again, what happened last week with social media going down. You have people who are on social media and it looked good and they're getting leads, but do you have something for when social media doesn't work? Now, those of us who already send out emails, who send out texts, it was like, oh, social media down. Okay, keep it moving. But for those of you who don't have any owned property, who don't own any of your own avenues and channels for your business, you were kind of stuck. I'm not saying don't use social media, but I'm saying don't rely on it. Don't make it your number one thing. Own what you have and use it. It's very important to make sure you have preventive measures in place. Okay? And those preventive measures, there's 3 things. 1, you need a strategy. Okay, let's figure out what it is that you want to do. How do you do what you do for your clients? Create a methodology or a strategy or a blueprint around how you do that. What is the outcome and how do you get there? Once you know what that is, then you need to create the step-by-step directions so that you can deliver to your clients the step-by-step directions so that you can run the back end of your business. When you put a blog out, you put a newsletter out, what are the steps that you follow to do that? What do your email automations look like? What do your events look like? How do you do all of that? Because let me tell you what happens. As soon as you get clear on those processes and you start to put them in place, even if you're a solopreneur, what's going to happen is you're going to notice that it becomes a habit now because you're following a checklist. You're following these steps on what you need to do. And what happens is everybody's getting the same quality, everybody's happy, everybody's served. What happens when everybody's happy, everybody's served? Then they go tell somebody else. And the one thing that I know about people is when they find out about something good, they're going to come look for it. So now guess what? You're ready to hire some people. Well, because you have those step-by-step directions, guess what you can do? You can use those to train your new employees. So everybody is doing the same thing the same way and getting the same results. And then guess what? Some of those things that you do, some of those things that people on your team do, There's ways you can automate those things. It's things that you do over and over. There are systems that will support you and make life easier. Everything doesn't have to be pushing a rock uphill. You use a pulley. A pulley is a system. You create systems in your business that support your processes. So again, those three things are: you need to get clear on your strategy. How do you do what you do? Then two, let's figure out a way to document what you do. And there's so many different ways you can document. Don't let people tell you there's got to be an outline. I'm not even going to tell you all the ways, but believe you me, I know some very creative ways. And then once you have those step-by-step directions, then and only then do you know what systems you need. Don't just go out and buy systems because somebody said that's a good system. You want to make sure you have the systems in place that support your processes, your goals in your business. Okay. And that's what I call the success formula that will take you from being a chief everything officer or solopreneur that's doing it all to a visionary CEO, someone who is a true chief executive officer who is able to run a 6, 7, 8-figure business. You want to make sure we're at March now. The end of the first quarter will be here before we know it. So you want to make sure that you are building your business on the rock, on stones, on a firm foundation. We all set goals at the end of 2024. At the end of 2023 for 2024. I don't know about you, but I've had some weeks where I've exceeded what I thought I was going to do. If you're having that type of revenue, though you're making those types of profits, guess what? It's time to look at your systems and make sure that as that continues for the rest of 2024, that you're going to be able to maintain that. I often ask, if your business were to grow tenfold today, would you be able to sustain the pressure? Because it's a pressure. So let's be real literal. If you have 10 clients right now on your roster, and tomorrow you woke up and you had 100 clients, would you be able to give those 100 clients everything that you're able to give those 10 clients today? Do you have what it takes to do that? Can you withstand the pressure of success? Because success has some pressure with it. It requires that you do more. To whom much is given, much is required. When you get success, you're going to have to do more than what you're used to doing. It's, are you going to work hard or are you going to work smart? And, the other question that I like to ask people, and I really am going to make it as a statement today, because the only thing that should put you out of business, well, I guess it's two things. One is God tell you to stop, or he put a roadblock in your way. But if he's giving you the gift, that's not going to happen. And two, the other thing is, if Oprah makes you want to list you as one of her favorite things, even when Ford ran out of cars when she started giving cars away. One day I'm going to be on her favorites list. That's going to be the only way that my systems don't support me. Y'all know I've said that time and time again. So it's just the third month of the year, but I want you to take some time and make sure that you have those three things in place. Do you have a blueprint for how you work with your clients, what it is that you do? Do you have a blueprint for all of the steps, all of the things that you have to do behind the scenes to support your business? Your accounting. Are you making sure that you can report? It's tax season. Are your taxes going in, or are you going to be late? Are your clients paying you? I think one of the worst things is to get the clients, serve the clients, and then not be getting paid by the clients, and you don't even know it. And believe you me, it can happen. Are you going to the meetings that you need to be in? Are you using the tools that you need to use? Are you managing your team correctly? If you don't have a team, are you making the best use of your time until you can build a team? All of these things go into the strategy, the how you do what you do. Then once you get clear on that, that's when you want to lay out the processes. Again, You want to make sure you have the directions. You want to know step by step, what is it that you do? And then once you know those processes and you're clear on how you get things done, that's when you want to look for the systems that will simplify your day-to-day operations and streamline things so that you can do everything else easier and better. And believe it or not, when you fix it so that you have those three things in place, your strategy, your processes, and your systems, you're actually going to do less and make more. So remember, you just want to make sure that you know that the rain is going to come, whether it's a storm or whether it's the rainfall of growth, it is going to come. Have you positioned your business to be able to withstand it and be able to be there when it's over and to grow from it? Again, rain helps things grow. You want it to rain on your business. You just want to make sure that your business will be able to withstand the rain. It doesn't do any good to manifest all of these great things and pray for all of these great things and wish for all of these great things if you're not taking the time to prepare for these things. Faith without works is dead. So make sure that as you're building your business to last. You're building a foundation that will allow your business to grow. Again, I go back to that whole winter coat thing. Our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, whoever bought your coat, you notice when they bought the coat was a little too big. And I don't know about you, but my mom said, it's so you have room to grow. So when spring came around, the coat fit pretty good, but it had met its purpose. It was there for you to grow in it. You weren't walking around in January like this because you had a growth spurt and your coat didn't fit anymore. It got you through that season. That's what that foundation does. It gets you through the season. And no, it's not a one-time thing. Every time your business grows, you need to look at that foundation. And it was a rainstorm. Excuse me. Did you sustain any cracks? Did you grow a little too big and now you need a little something else in place? It's something that you need to, excuse me, check on every time your business grows. Okay? So, just make sure that you are taking the time to make sure that you have a foundation in place. If you have questions and you're not sure, that's what I'm here for. Drop it in the comments. After I get off of here, I go on, I look in the comments. If you have a question, drop it in the comments. If you are shy and you're an introvert, believe it or not, I'm actually an introvert. I just do what I have to do when the spotlight comes on. But then send me a DM. Or send me a message and no one, so no one has to know what it is you're talking about. And if you're really serious and you want to know, what your next step should be, because you know that you're having a record year, you know that 5 figures has quickly turned into 6 figures. You know that 6 figures is going to turn into 7 because you just got a new 6-figure contract. Then what you definitely want to do is make sure that you hop on a call so we can talk about what it is that you need to do next to ensure that you are ready to grow. Okay? And so I am grabbing now my little banner and I'll drop it in the comments after this, but callthebag.com. Let's hop on a call. Let's see what it is that you need. You get 30 minutes to talk to me, complimentary, no problems. Let's figure out what it is that you need because I'm here to disrupt the status quo. I'm here because 8 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years. They don't fail in year 1 and year 2. They fail in years 2, 3, 4, and 5. You know why? Because it rained on their business and they weren't ready. Anybody can have a good idea, but can you sustain that idea? Can you have it for the long run? Can you withstand the rain that is going to bring about growth? So don't hesitate. Schedule a call today, whether it's you want to talk about social media and what happened, make sure you're ready for that storm so that your business is positioned. Or if you've been having record profits, record revenues, consistent revenues, and you're ready to go to the next level. If you are feeling frustrated, you're feeling overwhelmed some days, you're feeling like what used to work isn't working anymore, schedule a call today. So I want to thank you guys for popping in and sharing some time with me. I have been sick for a couple weeks. I missed some Tuesdays, but I'm back. So please be on the lookout. I'm going to be making a special announcement on Thursday. So please stay in connection. It'll be coming out via email. It'll be coming out on social media because again, you have to have planned, you have to have owned and free platforms to be able to have these conversations. So thank you. If you got anything from this, please make sure to share it with someone, and I will see you again soon. Have a great night.